17. Waking up next to a woman who wants to do naughty things has spoiled Zook with a desire to wake up. Waking up with a thick plastic guard right in front of your face truly ruins the mood. He wakes up on the wrong side of the internal compartment of his town car, not in a fun mood. He listens carefully to try to hear anyone else in the car. Waiting nearly a minute, he didn't hear Bud in the front listening to an audiobook, talking on the phone, or smoking a cigarette outside. Zook feels around for the unlock keypad. Pressing a button on the keypad makes it light up so that it can be seen in the dark. Zook sets in his code and the door unlocks to slide open.
Hey Z, how do I get this one open?
The question from Paul is from the compartment across the car floor. Zook looks out of the windows to see if anyone is looking in, and where they are, he sees a diner parking lot. Pressing in the code, he slides open Paul's side of the compartment.
How do we open these things? I was too tired to ask this morning.
Zook tells him how as they both sit in the back seats. Paul nods, and asks where they are. Zook answers.
I don't know, some diner. Bud stops for dinner as we go sometimes. We can go check in on him and get out of here.
They both slide out of the car, stretch a bit, and walk into the diner. It is in old style, a long bar, a dozen small tables, and sitting at the bar is Bud chatting up a stranger. Bud notices the two walking in, and his face turns ashen gray. He sets the coffee cup down, halfway up to his mouth.
Sorry, Ba. Sorry, I just got caught up talking to this guy here. We aren't far.
Bud is trying to defend himself to his boss, and who he'd consider a decent friend. Zook smiles.
Everything is fine, we are fine, and everyone's gotta eat, right?
The stranger, sitting with Bud, is a little thick around the midsection, but his arms are bulky. He has a leather jacket still on, and a motorcycle helmet sitting in the booth next to him. His heavy beard flickers when he speaks in a deep voice.
Well, if everyone's got to eat, why don't you guys grab another table and sit for a bite? We are having a decent time chatting. This guy's got some stories.
Zook answers by giving the facial gesture of, it is time to go, over the stranger's head, to Bud.
No, thanks. We have some snacks in the car, and we really do need to get going.
The stranger continues.
Good deal. Well, we paid up here a while ago. I'll walk out with you.
The stranger gets his helmet off of the seat, and does just that. On the way out, a family walks in behind them, and a couple more groups of people are getting out of their cars and walking toward the diner to get something to eat. From the stranger.
You guys really are lucky.
He continues walking behind them to their car. His custom-made motorcycle is close by.
Why do you say that?
Asks Paul, about to open up a rear door. The stranger walks up close behind Paul and speaks in a loud whisper, not loud enough for any others to hear.
Because, with all of these humans around, I'm pretty sure I couldn't kill you both, without drawing too much attention.
A bright fake smile appears onto his face. Both Paul and Zook look at the strange man, a bit bulky, leather jacket, and sees just a tough exterior, but then both look a little harder, and their eyes widen.
Oh frick.
Both of them know at what they are looking, and if their bleach-white skin could have lost any more color, it would. The stranger walks up close to Paul.
You are the tough leech, aren't you? I can tell. I have a couple of friends only a minute away. Early dinner run, and found your friend here. If you want to wait, they'll be here, and we can have a lot of fun testing each other a bit.
He is a little close for comfort, and Paul backs up into the car.
No, thanks, we'll be on our way.
It is also a good thing that you are getting out of the territory. Oh boy, if we found you in our woods, you'd never make it out of them. Mostly dead, if you get my meaning.
Paul nods quickly, perhaps showing a bit of shock, or is that fear? Paul shakingly says,
We didn't even stop in your territory, and we are passing through. We have no reason to get into an argument. We have a deal with other wolves outside our area. They don't bother us, we don't bother them.
The stranger's eyebrows rise.
Really, where do y'all live?
He asks quizzically. Paul starts.
We are a while away, near a city out in.
Zook grabs his arm.
We don't need to let the nice man know where we are out of, do we?
Paul shakes his head, rattling the cobwebs around a bit, and clearing his mind. The stranger, from what they could tell as a werewolf, shrugs his shoulders.
Well, it don't bother me any, as long as you two get the hell out and don't come through here again.
Paul bobs his head up and down. The man turns his head to walk towards his bike, and Paul calls out.
Hey!
Once he turns, Paul headbutts him in the face, knocking him to a knee on the ground. It boosts Paul's nerves a bit. Paul looks down on the wolf.
If we want to come back this way, we can if we damn well please. The last thing we need is to take some orders from a damn dog.
The wolf is kneeling for a second or two, holding his nose. Zook calls out.
Are you kidding me?
He opens up his door, and get into his car.
Now.
He calls out. Bud finally gets into his driver's side after his surprise of the scene, and Paul stands fairly tall, up close to the werewolf getting up from his cheap shot. Up close, Paul could see his nose start to straighten up unnaturally, displaying the automatic healing of his kind. The smile on the stranger's face goes wider, and he has a quick laugh from the pit of his stomach, saying,
Maybe you do want to stay for a little chat.
Blood trickles from his nose down to his lips. Paul answers,
No thanks, we really should be going. Thank you for your hospitality though, it was invigorating.
But he isn't moving. Zook calls out to him from inside of his car.
Hey dummy. Get a move on, now.
That shakes Paul out of the state he is in, either fright, anger, or just the power of what has happened, and swings around and gets into the car, and since Bud has the car going, he drives even before the door closes.